Um,
communication skills are going to be really important for selling agents because again, you're coming off an environment where you stick a sign in the ground, punch a couple of keys on the keyboard, and you got 5 offers.
right. Not anymore.
Now, no, now you're going to have to go, oh, we've had no showings in 2 weeks. Here's my, my estimate of value. Do you want to take a price reduction? And yeah, it's going to switch. It's going to switch from the selling agent having the power to the buyer's agent. And I don't think a lot of sellers agents realize what's coming. You've heard me mention over the last couple of weeks that we have finally entered a buyer's market, which again, if you happen to be shopping, it is a great time to find motivated sellers. It's a great time to get seller financing deals. But hey, what if you're trying to sell today? If you're trying to sell today, you got to be careful. You got to price it right. You got to really evaluate flips. I think a lot of flippers, frankly, are going to get smashed. I think a lot of real estate agents are going to get smashed because transactions are going to fall off a cliff. So we're going to talk with Omar Alfaro, the real estate investor from the high desert, man. What's going on?
Good. What's up, Michael? How are you? Appreciate
I'm
our
do
Tuesdays. It's
I,
great,
I
man.
do I do as well. So what do you want to talk about first? Transactions falling off a cliff. Really, real estate agents and brokers gotta buckle up, get right. Let's start there. What are you seeing just overall on transactions?
Well, transactions are like, in our market, they're staying okay, but I just have a feeling like there's just more and more coming in that are being sold.
Hmm.
Obviously, the sellers that are like, oh, let's sell, and they're definitely not getting what they want. A lot of listings that are just sitting, um, and this is where you're able to make some offers. But as you know, as an active broker, real estate agent type person on the traditional side, which by the way, I'm not doing too much of that because I'm really focusing on the flipping and the wholesaling side because that's just the allocation of time. Um, and I'm seeing that a lot of a lot of regular agents aren't going to be lasting very much longer in this business.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot
I
of
mean, I
demand.
think investors either.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you got to be careful. We'll talk about them in a minute. But one of the
Yeah,
things I've heard more times than I can count at this point is I am just going to wait until after the election.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. That's a pretty common theme. I'm hearing from more and more agents across the country that buyer demand is just falling off a cliff. Um, they're seeing open houses with crickets, nobody showing up. Demand's demand's going to tank, and that's going to provide an opportunity if you happen to be an aggressive buyer like I am. But let's switch gears to flipping. One of the things that I've tried to warn people, I know a lot of flippers, is boy, you got to get careful. You got to know your numbers. You got to grind. This is not a time to do something above the median. You got to stay below the median. I would tell most flippers, honestly, stop flipping. Just do a hotel, right? Buy it right, clean it out, sell it. It's not the time to do a 3 month, 4 month flip. Can you imagine trying to get out of something in freaking November or December?
December. Oh my
Oh,
gosh. Like
who knows?
honestly, no, you're so spot on, Michael. And what's crazy is that I don't know if you guys can see, but I have my little freaking remarkable. I write down all the stuff that we got going on. This is just on our investment side, our flipping company. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, huh, all of these deals are under the median home price. All of them.
Ah, there you
And
go.
and that and it's cool because a couple of them I'm keeping as rentals just because it's free money. But a couple of them that I'm just closed on, we are not gonna do a full remodel. I just got done doing a badass remodel that I spent freaking $95,000 on, right? And no landscaping, by the way, but just decked it out. It took to sell. We're finally have contingency. It's a very specific buyer, right, that wants to be in the school district, et cetera, et cetera. And after doing the numbers, I'm like, I'm not making 100K. I'm not making 80. So
Hmm.
we're making about 60 to 65,000, and that was like, it was like a nail biter because
Hmm.
that's not much money for 4 months of work and all that money going out. And I'm
Right.
just like, okay. So I took that idea and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, especially right now in this transitioning market, We picked up 3 or 4 more flips, but they're very, very inexpensive. I bought them under 300K.
Mm.
And they're 3.2s, and our resale, our ARV is, or not ARV, but our median home price 420.
Mm.
So we're gonna just clean it up, put them on the market for 389, and just clockwork. Boom, boom, boom. And if we end up making 40 to 50 without truly touching it, I'd
Right.
rather do 3 or 4 of those in a month, make a couple hundred K,
Yeah.
and then have no inventory for October, November, December, and I'm going to buy in November and December super deep.
Exactly. That's exactly what I would tell someone to do is clean the books, get cash heavy, and go shopping November and December. You're going to have so many people that have had listings at 60, 70, 80 days. They're just tired and worn out. Dude, we're going to be able to buy out of the MLS.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And we're going to get crazy ass discounts and we make a commission on it. Well, at least our side.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing that's happening in the buyer's world I forgot is August 17th, the NAR settlement goes in.
Crazy. Yep.
Yeah, that's changing the home buying process forever because you have to have buyers
Forever.
now sign something before you show them anything, right?
Uh-huh. Yes, you do.
Wow, that's going to be a fun conversation,
It's
right?
not
So,
a very it's going to stop. You know what
yeah,
it's going to do, Michael? Not that it's going to stop because people are like, we're already prepping the team and everything else, but the majority of people, I would say buyer's agents, don't want to do the extra work,
right.
which is fine because we're gonna end up doing is maybe those buyers that end up or buyer's agents that end up leaving the industry. Well, it's just going to be more market share available, and
Exactly.
if we know the process and
Yeah,
us as sellers, like my seller side, me being a seller, hey, you can't offer commission. I can say whatever I want as a seller,
sure, of course. Yeah. No,
but
it's really
if
you want to know what's really funny? This
tell
NAR
me,
settlement came out when it was perhaps the hottest sellers market we've ever seen. It's going
ever seen.
it's going into effect in the first buyer's market we've had in a decade. Right?
Uh-huh.
Buyer's agents are going to actually work for their money now. Um,
Yes, they are.
and I bet you there'll be some like again, if you fast forward to November, there will be some sellers that say, "Screw you, listing agent. I'm not paying you 3%. I'm going to pay you 1. I want to give a buyer's agent 4% because it will be the buyers that make deals in November and December, not sellers." It's just going to be wild to watch this thing go into effect in a buyer's market.
So now that this is funny, if it goes into effect in the buyer's market, what's going to end up happening? Sorry, dude. What's going to end up happening when your normal buyer that doesn't really know much about, or buyer's agent doesn't know much about the house, but has a couple buyers that sign these agreements?
They're going to have all the
Now
juice.
they're going to have all the juice, and
Yeah.
they're going to demand, "Hey, I got a buyer.
Yeah.
Check it out. I want 3%, 4%, 2%,
Yeah.
1%, whatever." They're going to ask for whatever they're going to ask for.
Exactly. And again, we've been spoiled. The real estate industry, it's been a seller's market for a decade. And I don't know how long this buyer's market's going to last. I think about 5 to 6 months till January 31st, probably. But yeah, it's going to be wild just to watch this from the sidelines.
Now, it's going to be change for sure. My question, and I don't know if you know this or
Mm.
have an opinion on this, but um, if you're not representing buyers, then you got to get really, really good at representing sellers, and that's more of a skill set. That's more of like you got to practice this, the
Dude,
communication skill. You got to practice your presentation.
oh, yeah, it's
Um,
communication skills are going to be really important for selling agents because again, you're coming off an environment where you stick a sign in the ground, punch a couple of keys on the keyboard, and you got 5 offers.
right, not anymore.
Now, no, now you're going to have to go, "Oh, we've had no showings in 2 weeks. Here's my my estimate of value. Do you want to take a price reduction?" And it's yeah, it's going to switch. It's going to switch from the selling agent having the power to the buyer's agent. And I don't think a lot of sellers agents realize what's coming.
No, and I probably don't either. I mean, completely honest. I'll speak straight. Like, I feel still like if you're still going to list to last, have the
Yeah.
inventory, because if you have the inventory, people are going to buy from you. And if they don't buy from a specific buyer's agent that signed that piece of paper, well, where else are they going? If the buyer's agent doesn't make the acknowledgement of like, hey, I know what to do. Let's do these steps to get you into this house. What's going to end up happening is they're going to go straight to the listing agent and say, hey, can I buy your house? Can I
Yeah.
buy the house?
Yeah.
And then at that point, I give them the, okay, well, before we see it, here you go. Now I in essence get forced to, and then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, well, let's rock and roll. I just
Mm.
bought you. I just got you the house, and I double ended the deal.
Yeah. I do think there's going to
I'm
be a
not,
lot more double ending because again, I think with today's technology, a lot of buyers are doing their own shopping. It's why they think buyers agents aren't worth it. So I think a lot of them are going to go to the seller. I do think that's going to create some challenges, right?
yes,
Representing both sides. So I think a lot of teams will have buyers agents to kind of create that Chinese wall between the transactions. It's hard to represent both sides evenly. But yeah,
yes.
I think a lot of people are going to shortcut this thing, and it's going to get messy before it gets better.
And guess what? We have to go through it. We
Yeah,
like the quickest way to get through. No, the quickest way to get over something is go through it.
exactly. Yeah,
Just go through it.
it's yeah, again, we're in a buyer's market. I think it's going to last the end of the year. I think what Omar's talking about, cleaning the deck, getting cash liquid by November, is a genius idea. You're going to have so many sellers that are like, I want to get out. I want to close this year. There are no buyers. Days on market are 60 days. It'll be
Yeah.
fun because then you're going to buy in November and you'll sell in April, right? When the next spring selling season's here.
Yep. Yep. And
So
honestly, like, interest rates go down.
yeah.
We know that's probably going to happen. It's going to create some freaking frenzy that if you're not the good buyer's agent to get all these things lined up,
Hmm.
like, how are you going to facilitate it? Like, I don't know, but that's
Yeah.
fine. Like, have them all come to me and I'll sell them all the house directly.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Bar, if somebody wanted to join your team or follow you online, where do we send it?
Guys, follow me on IG at Invest with Omar. Easiest place. That's where I respond. That's where I do a lot of the work. And
There you
the
go.
YouTube channel at Omar Alfaro.
There you go. Thank you, buddy.